I've come to Mustang to document another story of resistance. That of a people fighting to preserve something of themselves in the face of colossal change. Kagbeni, the last settlement before entering the restricted zone of Upper Mustang. On the surface, things look the same as they have done for centuries. Tibetan prayer flags cover the rooftops. Dhaulagiri, the 7th highest peak in the world, continues to cast an imposing shadow over the settlement. But the outside world is beginning. The trail we'll take follows the centuries-old salt route between India and Tibet. Until 1992, the kingdom was, apart from a few exceptions, closed to foreigners. It's also a hard place to get to. The terrain is so harsh, almost everything has to be carried by foot or on horseback, along treacherous paths carved by hand into sheer cliffs. This was all once part of Western Tibet. The people here still speak a Tibetan dialect, and they practice Tibetan Buddhism. Mustang and Tibet's history has been intertwined for centuries. Almost impossible to stop art thieves and looters tearing through remote monasteries and stupas, stripping them of valuables. As I found out, Mustang is an easy target for treasure hunters.
Well, we can't tell you where we are at this point out of concerns that the priceless items in this room could be stolen. But take a look at this. Chainmail that must be hundreds of years old, ancient masks, bells as well. This definitely was a prayer room at some point in the palace. Look at this. Old prayer wheels. And over to the left of me here, a tip of a spear. We've been told that this palace was built sometime around the 15th century. This was in the heart of the palace. There are old paintings. You can tell that no one has been in here for quite a while just by the amount of dust that has collected. Over here as well, just priceless Tibetan prayer items here in this prayer room, a room that's now long been abandoned.
While Mustang's treasures are being stolen for profit, its cultural traditions and religion are holding on. Tibetan Buddhism is ingrained in every part of life. I arrived in the walled city of Lomangtang as dozens of monks were performing rituals ahead of the annual Tiji festival. It's one of the most important Buddhist ceremonies of the year. People come from villages across the region to attend. We were greeted by Sering Tashi, the principal of Chode Monastery, the largest in Mustang, who is overseeing the preparations.
We are praying for all worlds, for that they will to preserve and how to have the perception for that for the Buddhas and the Buddhisms.
Sering Tashi granted us rare access to see the monks prepare at the royal palace.
How do you feel about being part of this tradition that is centuries old?
This is our very great festival, and this is one of the biggest festival of Upper Mustang, and it is still alive Yeah, therefore I am very happy, and also the big responsibility of this festival is depend on us. Yeah.
The festival commemorates Padmasambhava, the man who brought Buddhism to Tibet in the 8th century, and his triumph over evil.
If such a you believe for the Buddhism, such a you have interest for the culture, you get the blessing from there. If who don't believe the other religion, who don't take care for the Buddhism, it's like the dance, like the Michael Jackson dance. Yeah.
Tiji is a big draw for visitors. I was just one of many outsiders watching the ritual dances. Tourists come from all over the world, paying thousands of dollars for trekking permits. But the people who live here aren't seeing any of that money.
Where's the going money? The money is not coming here on our Mustang. Therefore, we are very sad. They're going back for the Kathmandu. If the half person that money is come to here, we can do it things. We can sort out all of the end problems.
And while the financial benefits are still unclear, the opening up of Mustang means that the modern world is coming in. In Choden Monastery, even Mustang's newest reincarnated Lama is finding it hard to concentrate on his Tibetan Buddhist scriptures.
The scriptures are a little bit hard.
Harsh treatment, but monks here say Shabdrung Rinpoche's duty, whether he likes it or not, will be to preserve Mustang's Buddhist culture. The outside world is coming in other ways too. The Tiji festival is timed to coincide with the end of the dry season. The rituals narrate the myth of a Buddhist deity named Dorje Jano, who battles his demon father, who is destroying Mustang by halting the rains. Famine sweeps the land. The kingdom's livestock is wiped out. It's a story that's perhaps more relevant today than when it was first performed centuries ago. Mustang is a high-altitude desert. The Himalayas create a rain shadow blocking the yearly monsoon clouds. Temperatures here are rising up to 5 times faster than the world average. The result, the ice packs of the largest mountain range on Earth are thinning, and its glaciers are receding. I've covered the effects of climate change before, but I've never seen anything like this. Here, global warming is not an abstract concept. This village that has been here for 1,500 years is basically dead.
All this area to the left and right of me used to be used for farming, but the water has dried up so much that the soil here is falling apart. It is simply crumbling. Villagers here will have to move. The problem is they can't afford to. In the meantime, they are receiving aid. What is interesting here is that not only is it coming from the Nepalese government, but it's also coming from China.
Only one family a day is allowed to irrigate their crops. It's not enough to survive. Back at the festival, the monks reenact the story of how Mustang is saved from drought and destruction when Dorje Jano defeats the demon and banishes him from the land. Water returns to the kingdom. Mustang's king and his courtiers fire antique rifles and muskets to signal the victory. Every year as the drought here gets worse, the ritual becomes more important to the people of Lo. But while climate change is coming, there are even more immediate threats to Upper Mustang's ancient culture. A road is coming. Upper Mustang. If there is one thing that will change this already vulnerable Himalayan kingdom forever, it is the road. From Kathmandu, it is cutting its way through to the capital Lomantang. The coming of the road has deeply divided the community. Next year, it's expected to connect to a road already built, coming across the Chinese border from the capital of Tibet, Lhasa. Not only will it open the doors to the outside world, it will make Mustang a major trade route, from Tibet through Nepal to India. While being closed off has meant the culture has survived, it's also meant that life is hard. Most people here don't live to see their 60th birthday. There are no hospitals in Upper Mustang. When people fall seriously ill, they either pay thousands of dollars for a helicopter out, or they take their chances.
It's my point of view, it's not necessary for the road, it's necessary for the one emergency hospital in here, Lamantang and Upper Mustang. Last year, and one lady, she's asleep and she infected for the head and she needed for the hospital. She sang for the hospital. 4 days left, she died there. If we can take for the hospital, she has life now. So that's not life. I don't think that's not really like the animals. People are going to die like animals.
We witnessed that lack of health care as we headed from Lomantang to the border with Tibet. Well, we've just had to stop for a second here and pick up an extremely sick baby. The family tells us the baby is around 13 months old. They've asked us to take them back to the village, and that's what we're doing. They had walked all day in the sun and wind to take the young child, burning up with a fever, to Lomantang. We took them as far as we could along the road that has been built. The family just went to see a local Tibetan doctor. He said there's nothing he can do for the sick child. There are no hospitals in Mustang. There are no certified physicians. This is a typical case of what happens when people are sick. They're simply going to take this boy now home to his village and hope that he somehow certified physicians. This is a typical case of what happens when people are sick. They're simply going to take this boy now home to his village and hope that he somehow heals.
Before the Kamab was coming from this way, the border is very open. Local people, they can go to there and Tibet, and they can come to here. So that not, because all our monks, they're going to do in pujas there. Then since the Kamab is coming down, the big border is becoming very close. Now we can go there. Even his monks very strict there.
Back in Mustang, it was time to meet the king. At 78, King Jigme Palbar Bista has seen his land change beyond recognition. He's watched Tibet fall to China and seen his kingdom cut off from what for centuries was its cultural and spiritual lifeline. You're overwhelmed by the sheer beauty of this place and its people, but spend some time here as we have, and you get a sense that within this peaceful landscape, for me, it's been an incredible privilege to come here, to listen to the stories the people here have told me. In many ways, the story of Upper Mustang and its place in the world is an important one. By strange twists in history, geography, and fate, its people have found themselves as some of the last custodians of an important spiritual identity. But in life, nothing lasts forever. I feel I've had a chance to document a unique place at a unique time, as these people stand on a precipice, staring at a very different future. It will surely be a difficult road ahead.